have basically accomplished most of y'all's wildest dreams, which is super cool to say. I did it at 27 years old, actually. So I made it to the top of a Fortune 500 sales organization in corporate America. So I've done the corporate thing and I did it well. Number 8 out of 5,079 sales reps. They were slotting me for vice president, sales manager, all this different stuff. I looked at my boss's boss, realized I was unfortunately climbing the wrong mountain, so I planned my escape.
Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. My name is Austin Linney, and I have Mr. Brian in the house. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well, man. Yeah, Austin Linney, Brian Luebben in the house, about to drop some bombs on everyone listening, hopefully provide a lot of value and change your lives for the better after this next 30 to 60 minutes.
So what I like to do with my guests is kind of let them get their little their backstory and kind of tell everybody what they want, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Cool. So my name is Brian Luebben. What's up, everybody? I have basically accomplished most of y'all's wildest dreams, which is super cool to say. I did it at 27 years old, actually. So I made it to the top of a Fortune 500 sales organization in corporate America. So I've done the corporate thing and I did it well. Number 8 out of 5,079 sales reps. They were slotting me for vice president, sales manager, all this different stuff. I looked at my boss's boss, realized I was unfortunately climbing the wrong mountain, so I planned my escape. Through a combination of side hustles, starting my own businesses, and buying real estate, I was able to replace a $20,000 a month income. I was making $250,000 a year. In March of 2022, I left that job and then did the next best logical thing, which of course my parents definitely approved of, not. I went to go travel full-time around the world. So I went and lived in the Greek islands. I lived in Spain. I lived in Europe. I lived in Brazil and Latin America for 8 months. Ended up making my way back home, moved to Austin, Texas, built a few companies of my own. We've got 2 7-figure companies that we started from scratch. And now I buy other businesses as well. So we have 3 businesses that I've purchased, 2 that I've started. And now basically I travel full-time around the world doing what I want, when I want, with who I want, helping thousands of other people do the same and live a life of fun, fulfillment, and freedom that you do not need a vacation from. So hopefully that would resonate with the people listening, or if they just wanted to keep working their jobs, they can scroll off, either one.
So what traveling for 8 months, 9 months around the world, what did you think you learned about yourself that you didn't know working the job?
Oh, that everything that people think that they want is actually incorrect. There's a quote that I really love, which is, let's get everyone rich and completely free so that they can see it's not the answer to happiness. But it's like, let's get everyone there first, because everyone's just like, okay, you're telling me that I may not like this chocolate bar, but I kind of want to taste the chocolate, dude.
Yeah.
Give me the chocolate bar. So I accomplished everyone's wildest fantasy, right? So I lived in the Greek islands. We'll just use that as an example specifically for a month. And after weeks 2 and 3, you are hungover and sunburnt. It's just not the answer to fun, fulfillment, and freedom. Like in the beginning, like in the small shot glass of a vacation is what we call it. It's fun because there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. But what I'd like to say is, if you become the type of person that is able financially to retire and do what you want, when you want, with who you want, be free, you lose the ability to mentally and emotionally retire, because you have now become the type of person that is capable of doing really, really massive and hard and difficult things. And so I always like to say, winners love to win. And if a winner stops winning and you take that winning away, who are you anymore? And so, but biggest thing I learned while I was traveling was, I thought this was supposed to make me happy, and it didn't. It just kind of filled a void. And so happiness is an internal game. It's not an external game, but it sure as hell got me on my happiness journey and my fulfillment journey. And it taught me a lot, which we can get into in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, they asked Bobby Bowden one time, the coach. They said, when are you going to stop coaching? He says, "What, are you trying to kill me?" He's like, "I love this," and like, he wound up retiring and did pass away 6 months later. Like, people are
Mm.
always trying to make you move to the next thing. Perfect example: me and my fiance got engaged, and the next question everybody asks is, "When you're going to get married?" I'm like, why is that such a big thing for you? Like, and so her and I, when we met, we traveled around the country. We did 30 states in 11 months in an RV, right? I worked from the RV, blah blah blah. And every gas station I went to, everybody says, "Oh my God, that's the dream. I've had that dream my whole life." And I'm like, "Okay, well, it's not that complicated. You look up RV parks, you get an RV, and you stay there." Like, but they think it's like this, great thing, but it's also a lot of work traveling around and moving all the time and stuff. And so I 100% resonate with what you're saying. It's so true.
Well, also what you just said there is important. It's hard, but
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, like, either path that you take is hard.
Yep. Yep.
No matter what you do is hard, and no matter what you do is going to take time. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to work and make your way up the corporate ladder, it's going to take 5 to 10 years, and it's going to be a lot of work. If you want to work your way out of corporate and become a very elite level investor, whether in real estate or you want to become a high level entrepreneur, it's going to take you 5 to 10 years and a lot of hard work. If you want to be overweight, it's hard. If you want to be fit, it's hard. If you want to be single, it's hard. If you want to be in a relationship, it's hard. So that's why I love that quote. You get to choose
Yeah.
your hard, because it's going to be hard regardless. So you get to choose which one you pick.
I love it. And so, what do you think are the kind of things that people have wrong when they're kind of like longing for this like break from their corporate thing? And is there a large group of people that are focused on the wrong things, or being, I guess, better term is being sold the wrong thing that they're trying to search for? I just find it so fascinating to me because I have also changed. I don't think that W-2s are the worst thing in the world anymore. When I used to, I hated it. So I kind of slide back both ways.
Yeah, it's my entire personality and online persona is helping people quit. I'm the least employable person on Google. Like, if you
Yeah.
search my name, it's every article is like how to quit your job. Um, but no, for 90% of people, they just want the safety and security, right? They just want to be somewhere. They want to do good work. They want to work hard, provide for their families. The only issue is in today's economic environment, in today's corporate environment, the inputs no longer yield the outputs. I actually was just on freaking Fox News because I had this idea of doing mini retirements, which is work really hard 2 to 3 years, take 2 to 3 months off, go take a summer with your family somewhere to Europe or, wherever you want to travel, and then go get another job and start the cycle all over again. And they crucified me. They called me a broke Instagram loser that would be divorced by 40 with no money in the bank.
That's it.
Yeah, right. And from a guy I had no idea, but I mean, he has to ask off for vacation for his family, and I don't, so whatever. Anyways, not salty. But the question that you asked is actually a sequential question. So again, people say, "Oh yeah, like, is this the answer?" And it's like you have to like beat level 1 of the journey to go to level 2, to level 3, to level 4. You can't just go level 1 to level 10 like a video game. It's not a cheat code you can enter. So level 1 of the game is, let's get you financially free. So it's not this big, sexy, multimillionaire Bugatti thing. It's literally be very crystal clear about what your fixed expenses are. Get your burn as low as possible. You would be shocked at how many people are actually truly financially free at about $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Through a side hustle and through real estate, you could do that in a deal or two. So it's not as far away as people think. It's just that they have an idea because it's just a pie in the sky thing. They haven't put numbers to it. So step 1 is, let's get you financially free. Step number 2, let's get you your time freedom. So that's the second level of freedom, to where not only do we have freedom of finance, to where it's not stressing you, you're finally out of scarcity and survival mode, and now you can think about things and plan things. Now it's time freedom, to where you have full control of schedule. And now you can truly go and do what you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want. If you want to work in Phoenix, Arizona, if you want to chill in freaking Brazil, if you want to go to Europe, wherever have you, if you just want to spend time with your family, you have that option, right? So that's time freedom. And then once we have control of our time, we have what's called margin for the first time. this big scary M word that nobody knows what to do anything with, especially in today's dopamine age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now once you have margin, that goes into like philosophical freedom. So that's the level that you get to where now you have checked the boxes and you've said, well, I became financially free, still not happy. Okay, now I'm geographically free. I'm calendar free, still not happy. And now it's the question of, well, how the heck do I just build an internal muscle where I'm happy all the time and it's a choice?
Mm-hmm.
But it's easier to have that conversation once you've checked off the other boxes. It's like dating. You don't know what you like until you've dated around. And then you meet your wife and you're like, whoa, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So same process.
And that's kind of the thing that I focus on most days. So you think that happiness is something that is worked on, not something like, I think that people feel like it's like this thing and I'm just supposed to feel this way. Like, you know, like I'm going to work out when I get here. Or I'm going to take the time away when I get here. And like, I'm obsessed with the same thing you're obsessed with, is like, I don't really need a vacation. Like, that's my life. Like, you know, and some days I'm not doing exactly what I want to do, but most of the time I'm doing what I want to do. And so like, I don't really need this like big break from anything, because I enjoy kind of what I do on the day-to-day basis. Is that kind of your kind of premise too, is like what you're searching for and supporting people in?
Yes, comma, and it's a double-edged sword, because when I first left corporate America, I'm on year 3 now outside of corporate America. So I'm year 3 out of the prison for people listening. I'm like, okay, I'm out here. I'm back fully functioning in like true society, right? Year 1 was just like hedonism. Like, I'm going to go travel, do whatever I want, you know, party a bunch, sleep until noon if I feel like it, blah, blah, blah. I've got freedom. No fulfillment. And then I started up my companies. And then the next 2 years was basically like the years of the entrepreneur, the years of the business builder. So that was where I was like, no, now I know what fulfillment feels like, because I help other people do this. And I can point to that and I can bring that in and say, ooh, that makes me feel good at an unlimited supply. When you find your purpose and you find your fulfillment, now you become obsessed. The dark side of obsession is then the rest of your life starts to get thrown to the wayside to focus on this one passion, this one obsession. That's why you see all of these tortured artists that have failed marriages, you know, failed health. All they can focus on is their art. And that's the flip side of the coin. So there's a quote that I love, which is, your greatest weakness is your greatest strength overused. And for me, that's ambition. And so now I've reached a period of my life to where I have spent the last 2 years building up multi-million-dollar companies from scratch. And now, like, I took home $1 million last year for the first time, and it did not make me happier. And so I'm looking around at my schedule and I'm like, well, it's a whole bunch of work, but what did I do this for? Like, I did this so I could have really intentional relationships and find a really, you know, deep and authentic romantic, you know, partner, and have a wife, have kids. But I'm working so much now. I work more than I ever worked before. The irony, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's going back to that intentionality of having, you know, really just honing in on, okay, it's not only the business growth that's important, but it's connection. It's how do I have it on my calendar to connect with people that I'm already friends with? How do I have it on my calendar to meet new people, you know, to go on the dates, to do the stuff? And so I'm a quote machine, by the way. I only speak in quotes, which makes for a good podcast episode, hopefully. But Dan Martell is a friend of mine now. He wrote Buy Back Your Time, and he told me, show me your wallet and your calendar, and I'll show you your priorities. If it's not in either one of those, if you're not spending money towards it and it's not in your calendar, you do not care about it. So that's why I'm like, put your gym on the calendar, put your date nights with your wife, put your son's basketball game or your daughter's dance recital on the calendar. It's a non-negotiable. You're doing it. So it comes full circle to that, truly.
And are you comfortable making less money if you had more of your time, or do you want to make more money but learn how to work your time better?
Welcome to the next level, Austin. Welcome to the next level, my friend, which is, drumroll please, brr, where you realize that working harder won't make you more money. Mm-hmm. The golden age of entrepreneurship, where you finally realize that can't hustle and grind my way to 10 times more income. So in the beginning, you have to hustle and grind to like learn the lesson. But now I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, I am physically incapable of working 10 times harder than I do today. So how do I 10x my input? And I have friends that have 100x my input working 10 times less than I work. And now it's through other people. And so now it's very much so that messy middle stage of entrepreneurship where in the very beginning, you do everything, you get some revenue, and now you're able to hire other people and bring them into your world and then train them and give them intentions and give them visions to be able to help you accomplish yours. And then eventually it's they're doing it independently of you and they're growing your life and your business and your empire without you. So there's a process called I do, we do, they do. I do it, we do it together, they do it without me. And right now I'm in a capital W, we do, and I'm transitioning to they do slowly.
And so is your role kind of the aggregator of people, ideas, and capital?
Yep. That's the end game for anybody. The faster that you get to that level, the faster that you're going to speed up. Like that is a level 1000 skill set to have, is how to create a vision that's so large that other top performers, you can fit their vision within yours, and then they're willing to come work on your stuff that you give them because they can accomplish all of their wildest goals, fantasies, and dreams in their dream life through yours. And I don't want to get like too. I mean, we could take it wherever you want, but like this is all I think about now is talent and attracting the right people. I just hired a creative director. I hired a full-time executive assistant. We have $1 million of payroll now for Action Academy, which is bananas. And I pay my people very well, and they are all financially free from it. They all travel the world and live their big, exciting lives through mine. It's fun.
One of the things that I find so fascinating about the younger generation, because I've coached a bunch of them, is that similar to you, exactly like you, they'll make 250, 300, 400, whatever you want to call it. And they go, okay, cool, but this can't be it. And they're more adapt ever to go, no, let's reframe it. Let's start a business. Let's create something. I find it so fascinating because I know when I grew up, I'm 42 years old. When I grew up, it was, get the job, work at this company. There's a report out I read a couple of years ago that an average millennial will have 19 careers before it's over and done. Right.
I believe it.
And so when you're around other 22, 23, 24, 30 year olds, what do you think is about driving this new kind of breed where they're saying, this high paying W-2 job is just not enough. And some of those people that are working with you on Action Academy, maybe they would be at a W-2 now, but now they get to work for you, an entrepreneur, and they get to learn and grow. I mean, what a gift where they get to do what they do best. I think it's changing a lot in business. And I think that's what excites me the most.
It's a massive cultural pivot. And I didn't create the wave. I'm just riding it. So by the time we're all said and through, like the reason I do these podcasts, like I have Action Academy podcasts. I've done it 3 years every day, Monday through Friday, for across time zones, across when I'm sick, across when I'm going through heartbreak, when I'm going through the highest, the highs, and the lowest, the lows. I make a podcast because by the time I'm 40 years old, I'm going to have helped 1 million people replace corporate with cash flow, go from employee to entrepreneur. So I'm trying to build and create 1 million businesses from scratch by the time I'm 40. So again, I'm not creating the wave. I'm just want to be like the lead surfer that's like leading the charge down it, right? So the reason is what I was alluding to before, which is previously, like most people want safety and security. I put in X, I receive Y. I put in a good, honest, hard day's work, and I get paid enough money to afford a house, to afford a dog, a few kids, like 2 planned kids in an accident, right? a nice white picket fence, a few vacations a year in college. And now that bag of goods is no longer sold. So they're now putting that time in, but they're not receiving that reciprocal benefit. And also the loyalty isn't two-sided anymore. So now the loyalty is like very much so one-sided, where people will put all their time, energy, and effort, especially in tech. I'm looking at the Google building in Austin, Texas right now from my apartment that's completely empty. You know why? They just fired like 15% of their workforce. Maybe they were working there for 10 years. Doesn't matter. You are employee number 700,424.7 to them. You're not Austin. You're not Brian. People are done with that. They're sick of it. And so now we no longer have the safety and security that we used to have through working a corporate job. So now, since we already have a lack of security, might as well just control it ourselves and just bring it back into our plate, because we're not going to fire ourselves. We're going to do whatever is required. And today with ChatGPT, with AI, with remote technology, like you can travel anywhere in the world and you can build businesses from scratch. So the movement is that our parents, it's not that they were wrong, it's just different. They just were raised in a different time where they had the security. And we were all raised, for the most part, as children of divorce, of children of non-attentive parents that were together. Best case scenario, there's a few handful of people, a small sliver, that had like a really good upbringing, but most of us, it wasn't so. And so now we all care about being healthy. We've seen our parents struggle with their health. We care about being present fathers and mothers. We care about being good spouses. Like we care about being good stewards of money. I don't know about you, but my parents, like, I don't even talk to my dad, so I don't even know why I'm saying parents, but my mom, like, and my aunt, they've got like $100,000 in a 401k and they are 65 and 62 years old. I'm going to financially support them. We don't want that for ourselves. So that's why the movement has started. And it's just, it's very fun to watch. We have 412 members in Action Academy that we help with this. And I want to highlight something really quickly and I'll stop my rant, which is you said something very, very, very important, which is, hey, Brian, if your job is in your business is to help people quit jobs, why do people come and work for you? So we hire from our community. So people pay, they come, they learn how to buy real estate in businesses, all this stuff, right? And the ones that are crushing it the most, like they really are getting into it and they're buying the assets and they're starting to pick up with their asset accumulation and their passive income, right? And so then I'm asking them, like the ones that are the best and the brightest, they're just adding so much value that I'm like, hey, come into my world. Give me your vision. What is your dream? And then they tell me their dream. And then if I can fit that within my dream, it's my job as the business owner to make my vision so big that their vision can fit within mine. And that way I can point to them and say, this is what you want. I'm going to help you do this. And we're going to have a bunch of fun along the way. And that's why I have top talent that comes and works with me. An example of this is my community director, Caitlin. She stay-at-home mom, 4 kids when she started. Then she started buying Airbnbs. Like she does like 4 units to 6 units, like small multifamily in Alaska. And she does MTRs, STRs through that process. Now she's got $8,000 a month of passive income, going up to $10,000 a month. And she makes a heck of a lot more than that working with me too, on top of that. Her goal was to take her kids out of school and go take them around the world. So 4 kids, family of 5, about to be, family of 6, about to be a family of 7 because they have another kid on the way. In 2026, they're accomplishing that vision where they're doing a full year of world school, where they're traveling to Europe. They're taking all of their kids for the entire year, and they've got that money sitting in cash ready to do that. And she's going to work with me and for me while she's doing that and like living her dream.
Doesn't get any better than that. No,
yeah,
it's
so cool. And that's fulfillment. That's fulfillment. And it doesn't have to be this big, massive thing. It could be, you could freaking love candles. And you're like, bro, I love making candles. And if you make the sickest candle, hell yeah, brother. Make them candles, boy.
No, because there's the fulfillment creates a different type of motivation. And I think that we've gotten the drug that we've gotten addicted to is, showing off or whatever you want to call it. But like fulfillment, like helping, fulfillment can come as simple as like buying a book for somebody. Like there's a book that changed my life, like got me through addiction, made me start changing, lose 70 pounds, change my life, all that stuff like that. Right. And I bought that book 65 times for people, like random people. You just meet them at a coffee shop and you're like, I here you go. Like, and look, do I know that book's like the thing? But like somebody handed me Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was 17 years old. And that book changed my life. So it's like, if I could do that for somebody else, like the ripple effect of that, Like you really have no idea, right? And yeah, you changed her life, but how many people's life is she going to change? And
Correct.
that's where it gets like really cool. Is that
Uh,
just like
I'll,
cascading?
I'll tell you, man, I could point to an email I sent that changed everything for me. And I now live down the street from the guy that responded to that email. I code basically this long story short. I was working corporate job. I was listening to a real estate podcast. I heard this guy come on that was worth $100 million. And I was like, I can't even imagine that much money, let alone a millionaire, but 100 million. Oh my God. And he's talking about financial freedom. What's that? So I'd been buying a few houses a year, and so I emailed him. It was a good email. And I was just like, I'm like 25. I'm exactly where you are at my age. I'm doing this. I've read your books. I listen to your podcast. I'll do anything that it takes. I'll fly out to meet you for lunch. I'll do anything you hate doing for free, blah, blah, blah. And his CEO, of his company responded. His name was Matt. So the guy's name was David.
Matt,
and Matt.
His name is Matt King. Yes.
Matt King. Yeah.
Yes. And David Osborne.
Matt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Matt's been on the podcast. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah, of course. So Matt was the one that responded to the email.
That's the man.
I live down the street from Matt now. Like, he's a 10-minute drive away. And he gave me a chance, man. And they made me pay for it. They said, hey, we've got this event. It's $5,000 for the weekend. And dude, I had no money. I whipped out a credit card and I was like, okay, we're going to figure it out. And I went to that event. I was the only non-millionaire in the room back in 2019. And now here we are 6 years later. I'm a multimillionaire, and I can point to over 100 millionaires that I've made personally. I can point to them. And when I wrote my book, I autographed it. I gave it to them, and I was like, you replying to my email has generated almost $1 billion of economic wealth for other people. That is sick.
Yep.
So freaking cool.
And all it took was a chance. Like that's what people don't seem to understand. It's like Diego Corza is like a good friend. I've known Diego for a really long time, right?
Down the street from Diego. Great friends with Diego.
And so, he tells me the story. He tells me the story when he got to Austin, and in that same situation, he gets invited to an event. He rides in a private jet. He's
on
never
a bike.
He was
riding a bike before. He didn't even have a driver's license.
He never even been on a plane, so he didn't know how to go to the private airport. And he says he just jumps on. He says to me, I never got off that plane. He said I basically just got on, and it's changed my whole life. I never got off the plane, right? And
love that.
And so I was talking to the guy I was talking before this interview. Like, I was so loud in my 20s. Like, I was so loud and telling people like exactly what I was going to do. And like I think a lot of people, when they're in rooms like that, I think they don't listen enough, because like those people are telling you like exactly how to do the thing. And if you just like follow the steps, like they're giving you the playbook, and then you're asking and you're saying like, why are you doing this? And it's like, because somebody helped me like back then. And so it's just so cool. Yeah.
Be the most interested person in the room, not the most interesting. There's nothing to gain from you being the most interesting person in any conversation. But if you posture yourself as someone that's just curious and open to learning from anybody, regardless if you do learn anything from them, the conversation and the interaction is just going to be better.
And ultimately, like, one of the things that my advice to people is like, whatever they made money in, like, make sure that it's like the thing that you're passionate about. Like, it doesn't like, just because what I'm saying is like, I love real estate. I love business. I love all of it. But like, what I find absolutely fascinating is like how people make money in business. I think it's it's wild. Like, I was at a business conference recently, and this guy, he bought the company. He owns 9 companies. He bought the company that supplied the flagpole at the White House. Like, I just think that's crazy.
Sick. Yeah.
Like, it's so ridiculous.
Love that stuff.
Like, and then this guy does like, one guy, like, all the felt that's in like the cars, the glove box, like that's what his company does. Like, multi-million.
I met a guy that sold his company big ass fans for $500 million.
Yes.
And his name's Kerry Smith. You should have him on the show. And he literally was like, yeah, we had this really scientific technical name, but then everyone kept calling us and saying, hey, you have any more of those big ass fans? And he's just like, You know what? Let's just do what our customer is saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
big ass
Yeah.
fans, and that's why they became the company.
No, and I think that we want it, like, that's why I find business to be interesting, because it's so messy, but it's
Mhm.
so art at the same time. Like, it's
It's
cool. Like,
business is art,
yeah,
man. It's literally art.
when you get those people in, those special people, and they own their role. Like, I'm obsessed with like talent and recruiting too. Like, and you watch them just like own their sector or their like task or their like role, and they're just killing it, and they feel good because they have freedom. They're not being micromanaged. Like, there's just nothing better in the world.
Yeah, and you probably recognized a lot of what I was saying from David and Matt. They're the ones that
Yeah,
taught me the game, and so I mean, hey, it's good when you've got a little baby business and you're learning from somebody that's doing hundreds of millions, right? So,
hundred
it's
percent.
all talent.
So you go out. Um, so you started two businesses that you grew from nothing, but you bought businesses now too.
hmm Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the thing that I enjoy doing the most with my money. I'm right now deploying about another 150, 160,000 into small
Okay.
businesses.
And are you an investor owner in that business, but not an
hmm
operator? Are you both? Do you have your own operators in there? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I'm the passive capital partner. So
Okay.
if somebody's listening to this and they're like, I want to do a business, which we can sidebar on business. Can I sidebar on business real quick for
Of
people that
course.
are maybe, yeah. So for business, long story short, you can buy a piece of real estate, buy a piece of property, buy a piece of dirt, right? And you get the mortgage, right? Fannie, Freddie, traditional, anywhere from 3 to 5% down, owner occupant, or 20% down for a rental property. With businesses, you can buy them at multiples of net profit for about 10% down through what's called the SBA. Think of the SBA, Small Business Administration, as the mortgage for a small business. That's the simplest way to put it. I've gone through the SBA a few times, and we've also done traditional seller finance for a few of our businesses. But what I do is I want to keep my main thing. Concentration builds wealth, diversification keeps it. Concentration builds wealth, diversification keeps it. I concentrate on Action Academy. That is my thing. Right now, we are currently in the sprint, in the hunt from $2 million to $10 million a year. That is my primary thing. Nothing else matters to me. I say no to business opportunities and co-GPs all the time because I focus on Action Academy. That's it. However, passively, what I do is since we help people buy businesses, what we do, my competitive advantage is, and that's another piece of advice, is go wherever your advantage is. Everybody has one. Don't be listening to this and think you don't. You do. I promise. You just haven't thought about it yet. Is we have so many people that are learning how to buy businesses. I teach them how to do it, and then they find the businesses and they bring them to me, and they're like, "What do you think about this one?" I'm like, "That's wonderful." And I partner with them on it, normally for about 19-20% equity. And I try to do a little bit less than 20% equity because I don't want to sign a personal guarantee, but that may be a little insider baseball. But normally about 19% equity, and I'm the passive capital partner. So I get my distributions, and after we finish wrapping up these 3 acquisitions right now, we should be close to probably about 200K passive, probably coming in from those passive distributions. And my operators are Action Academy members, so they get to come out of their jobs. And to be quite frank with you, it's a win-win-win for all parties involved, because say they tank it, say I lose everything and they are just the worst, which is not true because I've vetted them. I literally taught them how to do it. Um, Me even marketing their story produces more economics for everyone because
Mhm.
it's a great marketing play too. Like the gym I'm buying with this one of our members in Nashville, like him and his wife and his newborn child are going to get out of the freaking logistics industry and fulfill their life's passion of owning a gym. And it's a franchise, and they get to come into a day one with $100,000 a year salary,
Mhm.
security for their newborn. Sick. And I make money too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So you basically created your own flywheel.
Created my own flywheel, and then just pour
Mm.
gas on that fire along with Action Academy podcast. I've got it written out on a map how I'm going to make $50 million a year from all of this. Like reinvesting back into businesses. By within 3 years, we'll have 2,000 members, 17.5 million top line, 50% EBITDA margins, 40 to 50% EBITDA margins. I'm going to have $1 million passive distributions from businesses that I fund within Action Academy. So I'm like, it's for Action Academy by Action Academy. Take all of our profits. I only need about $250,000 to gallivant around the world and do whatever I want. I just reinvest all the rest back into our business, our infrastructure, and our people. And then after all of that said and done, then I also have it on my list this year to buy a flagship hotel and call it the Sexton, after my grandfather, and all my companies are Sexton companies after my mom's maiden name. And I want to buy this big flagship hotel, have it be like just multi-million-dollar project, buy it in cash, and then bonus depreciate the heck out of everything. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll have all that done by 35.
So, talk to a lot of people, do podcasts, interview people. Like, you just coach people. You get you understand people. Like, there's not a single thing that you said that I don't believe that you will make happen. You won't make happen. Meaning, like, I feel like not only like I feel like okay, it's done. Like like you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just certain people you meet. Like, that vision is so clear, it's so strong. Like, it's just going. You don't have a choice but if to pull you along.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's extremely well thought out, but it also feeds itself. And so when it feeds itself, it's only going to compound. When it compounds, it's only going to expand. When it's going to expand, it's only going to get, you're only going to be able to feed more people into it, and the impact's going to grow. So it's like this, just like.
That's why I say no to everything else, because I'm like, dude, easiest way for me to win in our community and mastermind space is be the only guy where I'm like, this is my one thing. Mm-hmm. Nobody else in the space is like, this is my one thing. They're doing 9 million other projects, and then maybe 8,427,242 is their community. So I'm like, okay, this is my flag that I'm going to plant. And if anybody could take anything away from what we're talking about, is this: the fastest way to get anything you want in life is help enough other people get what they want. And so the reason that my vision is so undeniable is because it's directly predicated on my ability to make millions and millions and millions of dollars by helping other people make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Quite possibly the simplest business model to ever exist in human earth. Like, dude, it's so easy. The average Action Academy member did $179,000 in equity, $48,000 in passive income, and $729,000 in acquisition last year. Bananas. This year we'll do $500 million. Crazy. So much fun.
I love it. So if people want to find out about the community, they want to find out about the podcast, they want to track down all that stuff, how would they do that?
Oh, they can just go look up Action Academy podcast. We give everything away for free. So that's another thing is there's so many communities out there that you guys can go to, and there's so many resources out there. Go for the one that gives everything away. Like, if somebody says they have some proprietary secret for you, they're lying to you. It's all out there. So if we have a really cool call in our group, we just put it on the podcast. Go check out the podcast. If you listen to a few episodes of that, then you'll probably dig it. If not, then you'll hate it. Simple. I'll just give everything for free, and that's pretty simple proposition.
Easy stuff. Well, man, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for your energy, your vision. I love it. It's inspiring. Guys, if you got some value from this episode, send it to a friend, share it around, rate us and reviews, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.